वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराण श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीर धारी कृपा बुद्धि तमहं प्रपद्ये मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. So we continue with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There's no higher joy in life than speaking about Krishna or listening about Krishna or chanting the holy names of Krishna. Again, speaking about Krishna, chanting the holy names of Krishna, it is all kirtan only. Kirtan means what? Kirti. Kirti means glorification. Glory is mahima, seeing someone's glory and glorifying. So japa is what? We glorifying how beautiful Krishna is. See, anything for it to touch my heart, it has to be sweet, it has to be beautiful. Even if it's a knowledge oriented thing, study oriented thing, oh wow, how beautiful. So something for us to get enamored or captured by it has to be beautiful, and Krishna is all beautiful. His renunciation is beautiful, his everything, है Madhuram, Madhuram, Madhuram. That song, no? Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. Is it Bilva Mangal Thakur or some Acharya wrote this song? And they were so short of words for expressing that Adharam Madhuram Akhilam Madhuram Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. So Krishna's smile is sweet, Krishna's glance is sweet, Krishna's walking is sweet, Krishna's sitting is sweet. Everything about Krishna is Madhur Madhur. Madhuradipate Akhilam Madhuram. Akhilam means completely sweet altogether. So we all live in this world, practical world. We all are engaged one way or the other. We all are hankering for that ecstasy, that higher emotion, happiness. So, and we can realize um, if we are not speaking about Krishna, hearing about Krishna, or chanting the glories of Krishna, the holy names of Krishna, what juice are we getting in this world as such? And practicing Krishna consciousness, what we are experiencing. Arjuna is such a good uh, representative, say for that matter. Hearing this dialogue, Arjuna is benefiting so much. And actually, we try to give good oral reception, we will be equally or maybe even more benefiting. So there's no higher joy than speaking about Krishna or hearing about Krishna because we belong to Krishna. Uh, So with this mood, prayer, aspiration, understanding, uh, attitude, we try to progress with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed chapter 10 text 8. We couldn't manage to go through it in a very heart saturating way, say. So I still feel like maybe we discuss slightly a bit more and then move on to the next one. So then text chapter 10 text 8, I will ask maybe Lucy if she can read the translation once it's on the screen. Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvita.
I am the source of all spiritual material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts.
Thank you. So we went through this translation purport yesterday. What again? What we discussed is see there are two things in life. One is coincidence, isn't it? Coincidence, and another is what? So one is coincidence, and another is Krishna-incidence. Hmm. Now, coincidence. What does it mean? Coincidence. Can I say coincidence like by chance, by luck, as a matter of luck, it's a matter of chance? But acharyas they do not appreciate much the word like chance or luck as such. Chance or luck is for whom? One who doesn't know the full thing, the full picture. So a lack of knowledge implies chance or luck as such. But for Lord Brahma, it's not by chance. For Indra, Chandra, Varuna, Lord of Death, Yamraj, for them it's not by chance, and certainly for Krishna it is not by chance. So for me it is a by chance thing because my consciousness doesn't allow me to understand or capture or experience things, and also if it's not within my reach, I can put it as by chance. So like we discussed, okay, we read through the purport, so maybe wouldn't go through the purport now. And we discussed, right, like what are the things by chance. So one example that comes to me by chance is what, like throwing a, we discussed this also, a coin, and head or tail comes up, right? Now it is by chance, whatever comes up, head or tail. But it is by chance for whom? For me, because I do not know whether it will be head or whether it will be tail. But uh, if I can again work up a model wherein if I can understand, wherein if I can understand the say pressure with which, if I can understand the pressure with which the coin is released, say how many flips does it take, what height, what angle, and when does it start coming down, how many flips and all. If that can be worked out, then yes, head or tail, what is coming can be worked out. So nothing as such is by chance. This is a world of cause and effect, a physical world of cause and effect. There's a cause, and things are moved by a cause, and the ultimate cause is Krishna. So Krishna is the ultimate key or holds the ultimate key. And again, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava. Many we'll see in Bhagavad Gita. There are many shlokas. I mean, those shlokas where words like Aham, Mam, Mat, Mai, they become very, very important. They become very, very important where words like Aham, Krishna is speaking. So where he says Aham, where he says Mam, where he says Mai, all these shlokas we can see. So here Krishna is speaking Aham Sarvasya Prabhavo, Mata Sarvam Pravartate. Also we discussed like, uh, see, believing in God or believing in the existence of God. So why do we believe in the existence of God? So, again, I say, believing in God, I don't find it very, um say, just encouraging. It is, I find a bit shallow, just the thing believing in God. But if I under, rather, if I try to understand, believe in the existence of God, I find that a bit more powerful, a bit more punch. And why do I say believe in the existence of God? Well, if I try to see things here in the existence we have in this world. So we have traffic laws, right? Traffic laws. Now, there must be a lawmaker to make those traffic laws. And why are traffic laws being made? Because that the traffic can go in a smoother, orderly fashion, right? And if there is any someone trying to breach the traffic law, then there's a fine. There's a council catches and sends a fine, a bill for that person, right? Likewise, there's the law of karma. Everywhere, law of karma, how seasons and nature is behaving and working. It's all very in a organized way, and we have a very strong interdependency, very strong interdependency with nature. So all that has come about out of nothing or just like that. So we struggle to find what I mean to say. We struggle to find it. We see so much design in this world, Niagara Falls, so beautiful places and all. Everything just by a matter of chance. um, And uh, so much of intelligence in this world. Is it just by chance? This much of intelligence. So yeah, we'll see another a video maybe sometime later on this chance. And essentially again there's a very good harmonized design in this world, suggesting there must be a designer, there is a organization, or there must be an organizer. Yeah. There's some laws, so there must be a lawmaker. And again, if someone comes up with this idea, well, actually there is no law in there's no laws and all, it's by chance, then one is also putting forward a law that there is no law, is it not? So these are some thoughts actually which theists everywhere we come to agree that actually there is a God, there's a higher authority power. Now, understanding that higher authority power, we call it God. In my little understanding, I find the word God a bit vague. Correct me if it's a biblical word with some biblical meaning. For me, it's more like an English word with no meaning as such. And generally, it is seen in India. Someone may acronym God as G for generator, O for operator, D for destroyer. That's God. I don't think so. That's a Shastric acronym. No, it just happened like, okay, God God, and you come up with this acronym. So, like, we see again, there's some higher authority in person, and again, for it to be, it has to be a person. The source has to be a person. Nothing has come out of a point, of a uh, point or a ray or a that ways. It has to be, the source has to be a person behind. Although we may carry some understanding of God from history and here and there, which is not so palatable, because for us it might be that God, that's the very name or impression of God, brings a lot of someone tyrant, someone ruler, that sort of thing. But that is, if we see God in the sense, in the light of Bhagavad Gita, I don't think so we'll find anything like that. And if we see God in the light of Srimad Bhagavatam, we could help nothing but fall in love with Krishna. And if we see God in the light of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we could again help nothing but cry and cry all together. So gives us some food for thought or understanding. See, scientifically or physically, no one can prove the existence of God. No one can. But at the same time, no one can deny as well the existence of God. It's not like can you prove me or can you show me. And also this question of can you show me, if I see I will believe it. I find it's a um, very light argument at all. Hmm? If you show me, then I'll believe, or this thing. What can we see with our blunt material naked eye? And even if I see something, I see wrong. So, meaning my senses are very imperfect. My seeing is also imperfect. I cannot see beyond a range. My hearing is imperfect. I cannot hear beyond a range. My sense of smell is also imperfect. If I smell something pungent and then I smell something else, no, it doesn't. I cannot smell it. My sense of taste, touch, everything. So it's not like through physical apparatus I can understand God. So this is why it is said wherever material science, material logic finds its limit, that is from there actually Krishna consciousness begins genuinely. So when I find my faith in Krishna, or more important, I would say, when I find my faith in a devotee of Krishna. And this faith is not blind, it's a worked out faith, it's a put in practice faith. uh, Then I can actually understand. And when I bring about some lifestyle changes, some discipline in my life. So, through material senses, logic, arguments, we cannot understand God. Hmm? Then another could be what from, say, making some assumptions. Again, through some assumptions and all, God couldn't be understood, making some assumptions around it. What our Shastras describe the best way to understand God is from God Himself, actually. So, from an succession and authority coming from, as they said, top bottom approach. One could be bottom top approach, bottom up approach, in the sense, okay, I am starting from a foothill and I want to climb, 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 and come to this conclusion. But I'm a conditioned soul. What conclusion can I barely arrive at? But if God wants me to know Him, then yes, surely. So this is Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Evam parampara praptam imam rajasya vidu. Sakalena mahata yoga nashta parantapa. That this science has been coming from parampara, from a succession, a disciplic succession. So when I get myself connected to this succession, to the chain, then yes, I know the history, I get to understand. Otherwise, physically no one can prove, and physically also no one can disprove. And it is not a question of blind faith. Mm. If blindly one cannot accept as well, then one cannot blindly reject as well. If I cannot accept blindly, there are many, right? When we go out on books and all, or many say that okay, it's a blind faith or like that. Well, without even understanding, if you can lump it as a blind faith and reject it, how can you blindly just reject it if you cannot blindly, if you're saying that we accept it blindly? Understand, put it into practice, and then one can check. Now comes this thing, we nothing is by chance in this world. Again, nothing is by chance. There is a perfect arrangement behind everything. Seasons, changes. We see tiny atoms, the way they behave and all. We see how nature behaves, soil, grass, everything interact with each other. We'll find lots of inspiration. There's such good scientists like, you know, uh, calculus. It's a study in the stream of mathematics by a Greek scientist or philosopher, actual scientist, yeah, mathematician. And I think in Greek language, calculus means pebbles, pebbles, right? Huh? And pebbles are what we understand around seashore. These are little stones like things. You know, what does it mean? So he kind of all his study and all he put forward, and he said, "Yeah, okay, it's calculus, as in terms of universal creation in the mind of the universe, the intelligence of God and all, what I have understood or discovered is no more than pebbles." That is his humility, and it is good humility. Yeah. We shouldn't be puffed up altogether. No. So there are many good scientists like who say that the more I study science, more it fascinates me and leads me towards God actually. So if we are sincere, we would be driven by Krishna. Otherwise, we may end up my life seeing all coincidences, or good coincidence, bad coincidence, good coincidence, bad coincidence. But if I'm practicing, I can see it as a Krishna incidents, complete Krishna incidents. And just to a bit further elaborate, say, now we understand there is a higher authority, higher power, call it God. Vedic literature call it Bhagwan, Bhagwan, meaning one who is the possessor of all opulences. uh, and Krishna possesses richness in full. When he appeared 5,000 years back in Dwarka, he had 16,108 palaces, mm, and so much so, complete richness, then complete knowledge, Bhagavad Gita, then complete strength. At the age of 7 years, with his little finger, he lifted Govardhan Hill for 7 days and night, a hill, uh, and this thing. Then complete fame, or everyone. He was very, very famous for good reasons and for not so good reasons. So very famous as well, strength as well, beauty as well, everything, and then renunciate, complete renounced as well. So that is Bhagwan, and then Vedic literature say that God has many names. Why not? How? I mean, is it not limiting if God has just one name and one son? No, God has many names. And God means one who is all capable in very simple sense. So if someone is all powerful, all capable, why cannot he have many names? Surely. So the Vedic literatures tell us the names of Krishna is what? Gopal, one who is the protector of cows, looks after the cows, gives shelter to the cows. Govind, one who gives pleasure to the senses, to the cows. Huh? Then Madhusudan, one who killed the demon Madhu. Hmm? So, like this, there are many, many names of Krishna. Achyuta, one who is infallible. Adokshaja, one who cannot be understood from blunt material senses and observations. And Vedic literature say the Rama is name of Krishna, the source of all pleasure. And the names which stands out altogether, they says Krishna. Hmm? And Krishna meaning what? The source of all attraction. The source of everything and everyone is Krishna. So that name stands out. And this is why we say Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So now we understand there is a higher God, or a God same. Again, more to me, more of an English word, but I am happy to be corrected or educated if it has got a biblical meaning or a meaning as such. And Vedic literatures tell us about Bhagwan. Now, coming to why we take Krishna as God. Because Bhagavad Gita, this verse itself, and many other verses, this verse Krishna is saying, I am the source of all material and spiritual emanation. So we take Krishna to be God for that matter because he is saying this. Who is saying this? Krishna himself is saying. And in the purport, Prabhupada explains like Narayan Murti, so many Narayan Murtis, and Krishna is the original Narayan Murti. So we take Krishna. Then other places in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, text 7, and this one, 529, and other places, chapter 4, 4.1 to 4.10, 11, we see where Krishna is claiming, demonstrating, or saying, I am God. And that's his pure ego, not out of any thing like puffed up attitude. No, that's natural. If someone is the boss of a big multinational company, it is natural enough for him to say, actually, I am the boss. More so, what does Lord Brahma say in Brahma Samhita? So Brahma Samhita is a compilation of Lord Brahma's experiences after he went into a transcendental austerity and transcendental experience. Lord Brahma says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadi Radir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. So what Ishvara Parama Krishna? Ishvara means controller. Parama means greater, higher, best. Say. Hmm? Who is that great, highest, best controller, supreme controller? Krishna, Ishvara Parama Krishna. And what is Krishna like? Satchid Ananda Vigraha. Not to leave like, okay, Krishna is just a thought or a concept or a light or a ray. No, Satchidananda Vigraha means, such means eternal. Chit means fully conscious, and Anand means bliss. Vigraha means body. His body is all conscious, full of bliss and eternity. Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam is the origin of all origins, is beginningless. Govinda, and is the cause of all causes. So that is Lord Brahma saying. And further also we see in Bhagavatam itself, chapter 10, canto 10, chapter 14, text 29 and others, where he says, Lord Brahma says, text 29, Athapite Deva Padambuja Dvaya Prasad Leshanugrit Evai Janati Tattvam Bhagwan Mahimno Nachanye Kopi Chiram Vichinvan. So Lord Brahma is claiming, they're saying that Krishna, others, those who may claim that they know you, let them claim for centuries and millennia and whatnot. But I cannot claim this. And only one who has been blessed by a slight favor of your mercy, he can only understand you. So this is Lord Brahma saying. Then Lord Shiva, in his discussion with Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva says, what? Aradhanam sarvesham Vishnor Aradhanam Param. Tadyanam uh, Aradhanam Sarvasham Vishnor Aradhana Param Tasmat Paritaram Devi. Tadyanam Samarchanam. So Aradhanam means worship, Sarvesham, of all worship. Vishnur Aradhana Param, the worship of Lord Vishnu is best. Hmm. Tasmat Parataram Devi. Furthermore or therefore, Devi Mother Parvati is referring to his wife Parvati. And Tasmat Parataram Devi, even better or therefore or much better than this worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of devotees of Lord Vishnu. Tasmat Parataram Devi, Tadyanam Samarchanam. Tadyanam means those who are completely devoted to Vishnu, to Krishna. Worshipping them is even better than worshipping Krishna directly. That this is Lord Shiva speaking to his wife Parvati. And there are numerous instances. I always say, if someone wants to understand the concept of God, absolute truth, absolute reality, Brahma Samhita is a fascinating book for that. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam for sure. There's references like Bhagavad Gita, this shloka 7.7529, other shloka some, then Bhagavatam 1.1.1, 1.1.2, 3 also very good, 1.1.1 for sure, and 1. Uh, first canto, first, okay, the reference is not coming to my mind, 1 to 11 or something. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagwaniti Sabdate. If one searches out, one can see. So this is why we take Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is what scriptures say. Personally, when he appeared 5,000 years ago, what he performed, what he did. So what our Acharya says, the scriptures say, the Acharya say, what Krishna personally came 5,000 years ago, is what he performed and did. And also, when a sadhaka tries to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in association with devotees, in the company of devotees, and tries to bring about a Krishna conscious lifestyle, one can experience that Krishna consciousness within oneself. Any thoughts, questions, or comment? It's not like it's not like we done a bingo or a lottery thing. Bingo is it called, right? That lotto, bingo, lottery sort of thing. Okay, Let's pick one name. Let's choose a name. Oh, Krishna name. Okay, come on then. From now on, we'll worship Krishna. No, it's not like that. Krishna is God since eternity. Is God by default, by nature. It's not like God is not a position which is irreplaceable. No. So we have been existing since eternity. Krishna has been existing. Krishna is the supreme personality of God. We are gods. We are not gods. We are gods as in with apostrophe s. We are not gods. We are, so based on this Bhagavad Gita, through scriptures, hearing from sadhus, saintly people, and chanting the holy names of Krishna and reading about Krishna in Shastras, yes, we understand. First of all, again, is there a God? Do we believe in the existence of God? So, yeah, through this creation, we can work out, we can see, okay, yes, there must be a creator. There's nothing as such by chance. Even this Darwin's theory of evolution, all chance made up sort of thing, for all of this to stand ground, hold ground, the probability, the chances, I don't know how much negligible, how much terribly negligible. And nothing we have seen come from a point. Another, where is that emotion? How is that emotion of love, care, service coming amongst all of us? And not just humans, amongst animals as well. Even plants as well, very undeveloped though, but still they have got consciousness to at least defend themselves. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna, because we are spiritual sentient beings, so we carry this emotion of love, care, concern. We might be stone hearted, but we are not stones. So, these lines that yes, there is a higher authority, call that authority God, say for that matter. Bhagwan is what Vedic literatures tell us. And again, God is a person. So, in order to come to Krishna consciousness, it helps when we understand actually who is God, what does God mean, why do we say Krishna is God, and ultimately in the practice as we grow further and further, we have to come out of this concept of God in the sense like, oh, Krishna is God and like that. No, Krishna is a person, and we deal with him with, as a person, but on a transcendental level of consciousness. This is what Prabhupada also like through his purport, he's helping us understand that Krishna is the original Narayan, the Adi Narayan, the Mool Narayan, the source of all of our existence. Otherwise, like none of the science or logic actually like rainbow. If the law of reflection, the law of refraction, it is to the law of refraction that rainbows work, right? Now, who created this law of refraction? It's not come up, sprung up just on its own. Nothing as such is just like that, yeah, on its own. Say, photosynthesis. Such again we said right, the best waste management system. We need oxygen. Plants need carbon dioxide. We give out oxygen. We take in oxygen. We give out carbon dioxide. And relationship, this relationship. This is why if we take shelter of Krishna, we will never find ourselves in scarcity, and everyone will be pleased. But if I do not take shelter of Krishna, I will find myself in scarcity, and I won't be able to please anyone because I won't be at peace with myself to begin with. Okay, tomorrow we'll try to see a video as well. Huh? Okay, let's see next shloka then. Machita madgata prana bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Okay, Lucy, you read translation and Harsha and Lucy then read purports in turn, please.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Pure devotees, whose characteristics are mentioned here, engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees.
Harsha, read.
In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them, there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyotir effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky, also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Golok Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of a devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord, just as a fish cannot live without water. In such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord.
The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. As stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12.13.18, Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. In this narration, there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification, or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus, the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in such transcendental literatures, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association.
Harsharu translation.
The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me.
So go a little bit up on the shloka. Machita madgata prana. Bodhayanta parasparam. So again, as we were saying, right? Mat, wherever this word mat comes, so this mat chitta madgata prana. If we see the word meanings, mat chitta, chitta is like consciousness, minds fully engaged in me. Madgata prana, thy life's devoted to me. So wherever aham, mad, mam, mai, again these words come, Krishna is saying they become very, very, they form the conclusion actually. They lead us to the conclusion, the siddhant, the principles altogether. So this is what Krishna is saying. Like, see, just like, okay, I think don't need the screen for now. Just like we understand, I'm not this body, I'm a spirit soul. Just knowing that much is not so helpful, right? What do I do now? Oh, you are not this body, you are a spirit soul. Okay, so what do I do now? This is what Mahaprabhu's teaching is like. Neither Mahaprabhu says that you are a spirit soul. Mahaprabhu's teachings is further, more deep, elevated. That I'm a eternal lover of Krishna, or furthermore, I'm a lover of the lover of the lover of the lover of Krishna. And this is what those who understand, those who find the resolve uh, with Krishna say, then what do we do, devotees? This is the business of a devotee actually. So these four shlokas are the shlokas in Bhagavatam. The seed shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. The previous one which we just read, where Krishna is telling us about Sambandh. Who is he? What is our, in a way, relationship with him? And once we understand who am I, what is my relationship, is this not, say in world, if I understand, okay, I'm looking for a job, I apply for a job, I get an interview, I get the job. So the company has hired me. So I understand, okay, I'm an employee of this company. This is the company I work for. They are the boss, I'm the employee. And what is my engagement? So the previous verse, Krishna is telling us like who is he, who we are, sort of relationship. And now here, what do we do? Well, once we understand that Krishna is my heart of my heart, hmm, soul of my soul. So, of course, naturally, then the pure devotees dwell in me. They like the fulfillment of my desires. They like the fulfillment of my desires. Their lives are fully devoted more to my service. Sorry, I lost my connection for a bit. So, Krishna tells Narada Muni that Naham Tishtami Vaikunte, Yoginam Hridayeshua. Tatra Tishtami Narada Yatra Gayanti Madbhakta. So, I do not reside in Vaikuntha Narada, nor do I reside in the heart of a yogis, those who are meditating on me. Rather, I reside there where my devotees congregate and chant my holy name, sing about me, talk about me. That is where Krishna also finds pleasure. So we are chanting the holy names of Krishna. Krishna is also equally responding with us in the chanting. Right? If I'm making my life Krishna conscious, then Krishna is also equally fully available for me in that sense. And this is where we'll find our real uh, this joy. Mm. So this is spiritual life is not like okay, one has to be very intelligent, or neither it is for one who is very dull. No, it is not like for very dull people or someone has to be very intelligent. Also, you see one thing. Uh, see, what do devotees do? Pretty much the same thing every day. Waking up early in the morning, going to the morning program, attending Mangalarti, Japa, class, Kirtan, everything. And then services and all throughout the day and all. More reading, hearing, chanting. So, devotees, they go on and on reading Bhagavad Gita. They would have read it once, twice, thrice, four times, five times Bhagavatam, read again and again. 1 year, okay, this is what we are discussing in Bhagavatam in the temple class. Another year, same thing, like this, reading again and again Chaitanya. So it's the same activity actually, but with a more higher consciousness, with a more mm, loving emotions and exchange. So we do the same thing more and more and we get more joy out of it. But in material mundane sense, if there is anything which I do over and over again, I won't find that same joy. No. The material world means what? Law of diminishing marginal return. Law is there. What is the law? The principle is there. What? Diminishing marginal return. As in, example, beer say, you take 1 pint of beer to begin with. Oh, wow, this is good. Hmm? Or you take whatever, one cake. So good cake. Two cakes, very good. Three cakes, very good. Now fourth cake, no. I'm very full. I cannot take in. And if I'm forced to take fifth, sixth cakes, then okay, no, I'm finding it not finding it sweet. But such is not the case with Krishna consciousness. The more we practice, the more joyous one feels, the more joyous one experiences, joy one experiences. Mm. It's like children. You see, kids when they are kids, children, they would wake up and what play the same game again. Next day also do the same thing. Next day also do the same thing. Little bit here and there, but they just same activity and all, and they relish. Likewise, it's not like something extra activities or something different. No, simple. If we read together in company, listen in company, chant in company, we'll find so much of what do you say, blood injected into us. Lots and lots of nourishment. But the same activities we cannot keep on going in material mundane sense doing. I mean, if someone is slightly intelligent, one can see, right? There are devotees who have been chanting Hare Krishna for so many years now. Now, what is Hare Krishna mantra? If we see word-wise, essentially there are three words, and we are repeating these three words over and over again, but cannot find an end to it. Yeah. That's spiritual sound vibration. And material sound vibration, we may repeat it, but after a point in time, it loses its charm. So, first, like the identity, the relationship, Krishna and us. And what do, when we are in that relationship, what do? We do this only, Krishna Katha only. Hearing, singing, talking about Krishna. Krishna and his pure devotees. Devotional service is what? Glorifying the devotees of Krishna, going for the devotion in the devotees of Krishna towards Krishna. That glorification is the process of devotional service. So we devotees try to congregate and listen and hear about Krishna and his pure devotees. and that is Krishna consciousness, very nourishing to us. And likewise, we find people in society, they congregate. Many would be now discussing World Cup. Yeah. Many would be congregating, discussing politics. But all this doesn't free us from any lust, greed, anger, envy. No, doesn't help us come to a no complaint zone. Doesn't help us understand who we are, uh, what is the purpose. All that is pretty much a fabricated and a cover living in a cover up say society. Okay, any thoughts, questions, or comments? So Krishna will see the next verse now. So Krishna said like who is the source of everyone and everything. And the wise knowing this, they do what? They engage. So what what is sort of say expected from us? Of course Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, it is all for us humans only. We are born in this human body, but we need not die with human consciousness. Uh, So that's the relationship Krishna and those who understand Krishna to be the source of everything. What do they do? The activity, the engagement, the process. Well, they congregate and chant about Krishna, talk about Krishna and his devotees. And what effect does it bring? So the process is this meeting up with devotees and engaging in loving devotional service. And what would it will it do? That we see in text 10 and 11. तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकं ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते. Okay, Harsha read translation and both of you read purport in turns, please.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. In this verse, the word Buddhi Yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord, instructing Arjuna, said that he had spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yoga itself is action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, and yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back home, back to Godhead, and takes fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called Buddhi Yoga. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. The ultimate goal of progress is Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, that then the path is slowly but progressively traversed. Then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved.
When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna, but he takes pleasure in mental speculations to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. This complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life.
A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization. But if he is still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him instructions so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that a person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and that work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
So, tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. See, bring up the translation once again, and Lucy, read the translation. I will have a question after this. Huh? Or if you have got the hard copy, Lucy, whichever way, it's on the screen now, though.
To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
Okay, I've asked this to Harsha before. It's a similar sort of question, huh? And asking to both of you now. Is there any keyword which is you find very important in this translation?
Um,
And-
Devoted and love, I'd say.
Okay, nice. And say that keyword or message or thing, if taken out, then the translation of the message wouldn't be so appealing. Or, yeah, in this sentence, in this message, what is a very difficult thing? Yes, this is the question. We are practicing devotees, right? We are practicing Krishna consciousness. We are trying to become devotees here, understand Krishna consciousness. Huh? Now, what is a very difficult? Is there anything which is very difficult in this translation?
I'd say for me, doing something constantly, like keeping up with it, is probably the challenge.
Harsha, anything you would like to say?
Yeah, it's about the consistency, doing constantly with love.
Hmm. So now, yeah, actually, I would say spot on, Lucy. It was and Harsha. Now, Lucy, read the translation without reading constantly.
To those who are devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me.
So now, does it? You see the difference now? Is there a difference? To those who are
Yeah, I guess.
constantly. Go on.
Um,
This is a.
yeah, I'm not sure it does. Sorry, got distracted.
One is to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love. I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And
I guess
another,
like in the word consistently gives you a kind of discipline, because if you're just devoted, you could be wishy-washy with it and just think it without the
yeah,
constantly
if
kind of
I'm
gives
just
it
devoted, then I could
direction.
be a weekend devotee. If I'm
Yeah.
just devoted, I could be a weekend devotee, or I could be a summertime devotee. I could be a part-time devotee. But part-time doesn't help. Krishna doesn't want us to be part-time. Hmm? He's also, otherwise, Krishna is also partly available for us, and partly can never saturate us. This is why actually, this is what Krishna, and we see more in Bhagavatam, the prayers, the hymns. They are the hymns or the realizations of pure devotees like Queen Kunti, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, even what we are studying, Vritrasura. From Wednesday on, he's currently giving a hymn prayer, and Wednesday on he will speak so beautiful, so beautiful. So, but that is his experience, Vitrasura's experience, Prahlad Maharaj's experience, and all. That has not become my experience. So, this is Krishna saying like pure devotional service and pure devotees, which has not become my experience. But if I come across someone who is devoted to Krishna, if I can identify a pure devotee of Krishna, my life is very successful. And if I can learn devotional service from a pure devotee of Krishna, great. If I can at least identify a devotee, take someone to be a devotee of Krishna and see in line with scriptures and all and tag along with him or her, very good. And then that devotional fervor in that devotee will rub onto me as well. Hmm? So thing is like this verse, see again if I try to say, the eighth verse Krishna is explaining a relationship between us and him, as in he's the source of everyone and everything. Knowing this, what do we do? The next is the engagement. So a pure devotee. Now, have you got the book? And Lucy, by the way, now Harsha, please bring on screen as well. Text 9 again, text 9, the previous one. Read the translation. Machita Madgata Prana. So this Krishna is speaking to whom? About pure devotional service. So these are the makeup of a pure devotee. है ना? Pure devotional service is done by pure devotees. And what is that pure devotional service like? So Krishna says, what do they, those who are my pure devotees, they engage. So the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their hearts are fully devoted to my service. Hmm? Again, in this thing, what is the most difficult thing for us? A question again for Lucy Harsha. See, we struggle with wherever this Nityam. Yeah, go on, Lucy.
What were you saying? What word is difficult?
Yes, what is difficult for us to do in this?
Um, it says fully and always.
Yeah, it's actually words like fully and always is always a difficulty, and doesn't matter in Krishna consciousness, in anything. Yeah, I could be the
Yeah.
boss of a company. I opened up a cafe. I opened up a restaurant. Since childhood, I wanted to be opening a restaurant. I love food so much. I love serving food. I like that ambience, that vibe, that pressure, that kitchen thing, staff, and everything. I love that sort of thing. The all the ups downs of it. But there's anything like we humans, we cannot do it. We struggle to do something so fully and so always. And this is why this is pure devotional service. I'm in the process path of pure devotional service, but I'm not doing it purely. But how do I do it purely? When I practice, one day I will come to doing purely. Yeah, when I one day I will see actually that it is not a mechanical process. It is a very simple process. If I start appreciating devotees in my life, I can spot a pure devotee in my life. If I can glorify the devotion of a pure devotee, then yes, I will also get that mood, that absorption. Attachment is the key of success. Absorption, attachment. Yeah. So here look, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are devoted to me. If I say their lives are devoted to my service, it's a different thing. and saying their lives are fully devoted to my service. That's another thing. And they derive great satisfaction and bliss from enlightening one another and conversing about me, or from always enlightening. So wherever this always satyam, sorry, nityam, the Sanskrit word is nityam, right, which means perpetually. uh, Satat, satat means continuously. So we struggle with continuous absorption. We struggle with continuous attachment. So this is why this is pure devotional service. This has not become my experience, but this is what devotees do, and I am also trying to cultivate myself in this mood. So this is what devotees do, and what effect they get is what we read in 10th one. So can you go to the next verse, please? We read the 10th one. Huh? So this is what Krishna does. Those who are constantly devoted to serving me. So he gives the understanding, but I have to be really constantly devoted. It doesn't mean that if I'm not constantly devoted, I won't get any joy in devotional service. I will get, but not to a complete nourishment level. I will get definitely lots mercy, way beyond than I can hold on to, but still not full mercy. And a, s- a sadhaka is one who is aspiring to become a pure devotee. That should be the simple definition of a sadhaka. And pure devotee once means who is fully blessed. Sadhaka means who is very blessed but has not become fully blessed and is in the process of becoming fully blessed. Does that somewhat make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So even if I do not have that full love for Krishna, but whatever tiny miny love I have for Krishna, Krishna will reciprocate, give me the intelligence. With that further intelligence, I will continue and then. So this is the purpose. This is the say purpose of the motivation or purpose. What Krishna will give me the intelligence. When I engage in devotional service, Krishna will give me the intelligence to further engage in devotional service and further reveal himself. But thing is, I have to be engaged, and this is practical in societal dealings as well, is it not? In job, school, college, uni, family, relationships, whatever dealings and all. So the more uh, युवती नाम यथा योनि यूनां च युवतो यथा तथा तथा अ, मनोरो मनो युवती नाम यथा योनि यूनां च युवतो यथा मनो में रमते तद्वन thing Ramunacharya, I think he quotes this, that just like a young boy takes pleasure in a young girl or a young girl takes pleasure in a young boy. Now they're fully absorbed or immersed, thinking of the boy thinks of the girl thinks of the boy. Like that, I pray that I develop that attachment, that sort of attachment towards you, Krishna. That I always think of you and never forget you. Mano में अभी रमते तद्वन तद्वन त्वयि mano में त्वयि. That I always think of you. That sort of thinking, that sort of attachment that naturally a boy experiences for a girl and girl for a boy, that sort of attachment I want to develop for you, Krishna. That is like so in this human form of life, minimum attachment we should come to. We should aim to get minimum attached to Krishna. Hmm? Then we can get into transcendental emotion and further on. But this minimum attachment, if I'm not attached to Krishna in that sense, if I'm not aiming for that, then I would be easily swept away by Maya, taken away by Maya, distracted myself. So this is the benefit, if I may say, purpose of devotional. What it gives more enlightenment by which we can understand Krishna more. Furthermore, let us read the next. Tesam satatayuktan. No, sorry. Teshamevanukampartham aham jnanajam tama nashayami atma bhavasto jnanadipena bhashvata. Lucy, would you be okay to read translation and then purpose you and Harsha please share?
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness of ignorance. When Lord Chaitanya was in Benares, how do you say that?
Yeah, Banaras. That's fine.
Benares, promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Sarasvati, a very influential and learned scholar in Benares at the time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. They are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness.
The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse.
The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating, for the supreme is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee of Krishna.
Due to the contamination of material association, through many, many millions of births, one heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord. who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance.
So this is what Krishna consciousness or the practice or the mercy. When we engage, it's only how is it like, no? If I do not engage myself in devotional service, how do I expect that okay there will be a heart to heart connection, Krishna will touch my heart or reveal me and show this special mercy and all. No. And again, Krishna is not expecting us to be clean first and then come to him. No, not at all. Just come as you are. Leave perfection. We can never be perfect. We can never be so pure that we become Krishna conscious. Okay, I can never claim, right? I can never go and tell, oh, hang on, Krishna, give me 6 months. I'll become very pure in 6 months. Oh, 6 months has gone by. Yeah, Krishna, now I become very pure. Now I think I'm fit for you. That would be like mocking Krishna. No. 6 months, 6 years, 6,000 years, 6 lifetimes, 6,000 lifetimes. We can never claim that, okay, now I have become so pure that, yeah, Krishna, okay, you can have me now. Uh, but it is through our engaging in devotional service, we'll understand what is there in my heart. Hmm? Anything but Krishna is there in my heart as such. And when we engage in devotional service, there's so much of mercy that any contamination in the heart goes away. And Krishna gives that knowledge from within and everything. And again, it is not like to first become knowledgeable and then practice devotional service. No. Bhakti leads to bhakti. Devotion leads to devotion. There is devotional sentiment element amongst all of us. Love and service, although it is dormant at the moment, but it is there amongst all of us and it needs a bit of activation. So, as they said, dedication leads to devotion. Dedication leads to devotion. And that devotion will make us more dedicated. It's all a cycle. Once we come across devotee association, thing is coming across devotee association, trying to understand Krishna consciousness in devotee association, putting into practice, bringing some lifestyle changes, hmm, checking it, uh, and then one can relish devotee this Krishna consciousness altogether and check out. So it is not like okay, some pre-qualified knowledge is required. What's the word? No, pre-qualified, pre-existing knowledge or anything of that sort is required. There's not like no eligibility criteria as such. The only thing, if at all, is genuine intent, genuine heart, willing to practice, willing to understand. Yes, and then we take on, and which is the ask I think everywhere. Go in a job, dance class, wherever. There's like okay, there's some things which you should be aware of, something which you should be doing if you want to become a dancer, if you want to become a musician, if you want to become a lawyer, doctor, engineer sort of thing. So follow the process, bring these changes, lifestyle changes oriented and all. And likewise, we follow the process of devotional service in association of devotees, then we'll see lots and lots of mercy coming our way. So this is what devotional service brings us. There's no prerequisite. No prerequisite. Thank you, Harsha. If and the only prerequisite is already there, this loving emotion and sentiment. Can you name any living entity, any human being who doesn't love or serve someone or the other? Can you find any single person who doesn't love or serve someone or the other? Either I am loving my ego, my senses, my greed, my lust, my vanity, uh, or I'm loving society compassionate, but I love someone or the other, and I serve also someone or the other.
I was thinking, what about like depressed people or people who want to kill themselves? Maybe that's what it is. Like they lack loving anything, so therefore they're like they just want to end it all. Or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, see, uh, we discussed maybe a few days, right? Like this lack of receiving love and lack of giving love. This is a big problem, big problem. Lack of genuine receiving love, lack of genuine giving love, and love not on the physical platform. So because of this lack and all, then depression comes in. And depression is another form of self-obsession. It may sound a bit rude or harsh, but if I try to see, depression is what another form of self-obsession, another form of self-centeredness, which creeps in so much that I just find depression and I struggle to come out of it. Any good engagement, no, it's not for me. No, it's not for me. I cannot take this. I cannot go for a walk. I cannot build a habit. I cannot build a routine. I cannot have a friend. Nothing. There's no hope, motivation, and all. And one is become so self-centered, in his self-centeredness. One thinks, oh, this world is not for me. Everyone is against me. This world doesn't understand me. No one loves me. No one loves me. And this value, we give ourselves this sort of, see, I'd say this thing. There are two things, doubt and benefit of doubt, right? Doubt and benefit of doubt. Now, when it comes to myself, I try to give myself a benefit of doubt. Is it not? I try to give others a report wherein, okay, I'm giving myself actually a benefit of doubt, or what I want, others should give me a benefit of doubt. And when it comes to others, I struggle giving them a benefit of doubt and rather I doubt straight on. And this is because of my self centeredness. So, depression also, when one is very much pointed in one's self centeredness, then it leads to further and further depression. And the society, the way we are living, it's more in a closed society, more virtual world we live in, है ना? Very impersonal relationships we hold. And all these things will lead us into what? Loneliness. It's a big problem now, is going to be a big problem. See, a world of 8 billion population, is it not a bit irony? 8 billion population, but we struggle from loneliness. Uh, Living in crowds, but we find ourselves single or lonely. So, loneliness, anxiety, depression, because lack of receiving love, lack of giving love. Society, where is there society where this education environment or platform is there to promote, to cultivate, to practice? Otherwise, our understanding of love is very much on the physical platform. It's very much on based on requirements. You serve my agenda, I serve your agenda. Pretty much that's love. So depression is more like self-obsession, self and struggling to connect with someone, struggling to find that. companionship wherein people do not judge me. Arjuna, Krishna is not judging Arjuna. Krishna has understood Arjuna. First, second chapter, Krishna listened to Arjuna, understood him. Many times we see when in a discussion, a conversation, when the person starts speaking, I have formed a judgment about him. I've come to a conclusion. He has just started speaking, but I have made the conclusion in my head. And I'm just waiting for him. When does he stop and when do I reply? And I know what I'm going to reply. I'm just waiting. When does he stop and I reply? Is it not? Many a times we'll see friends, family, and all. But such is not the case with Arjuna and Krishna. Krishna is not telling Arjuna like this. So, although Arjuna was very much depressed, Arjuna himself acknowledged in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita that I'm very depressed. My mind is reeling. I'm not able to stand. Everything. Mm. So he was very hopeless, completely hopeless. And Krishna gave him what? Complete hope now through this nurturing. So, yeah, this depression, thoughts of suicide, many people go through. Many people, rich, poor, whatever, educated, non educated, homeless or with homes, jobless or jobs. Many people go through this emotion of uh, life is not worth living. I'm reckless. No one loves me and things. But and this is why, like spiritual practitioners, they have a higher role, higher duty to perform. Life is so precious, human life especially. No one is worthless. Everyone is a potential pure devotee of Krishna. Everyone is very lovable, very good, because it's the soul proper. And if we can somehow have that connection, that emotion, that friendship, so it all begins when we understand we are not this body and spirit soul. And then how we go on about life. Otherwise, yeah, there will be depression from time to time. Does that somewhat tie in with your comment or question, Lucy?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
It's not a good feeling. Society acknowledges also, and society does again some solution try to, but the solution are all material driven. Like in Japan, there is a loneliness minister, something like that, a minister for loneliness, a minister for suicide, a minister for depression. Apparently, suicide rate is very high in Japan amongst all the world. Say, weather plays a big role in there. The weather, the season, the climate plays a big role. But these are even if we save someone through some counseling by setting up committee and all, okay, the person may not commit suicide, but how much life is there? What is the understanding of life? It's like trying to cover one hole in a boat. We are trying to fix one hole, but then another two holes open up. I try to fix those two holes, another four holes open up. This is why solution has to be spiritual and problem is always material. There's never a spiritual problem and there's never a material solution. So we all live in depression time to time and all, and sometimes it goes complete state of depression, wherein full self-obsession and no one cares for me, no one loves me, I don't have any engagement, nothing is good of me. All such negative comes upon. But none of it is actually as such true. Surely we all have our shortcomings, problems and all. Mm. One of the biggest problem in this world is what? One of the imperfect thing in this world is to look for perfection. So many places, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, you see, it mentions what? Pure devotee. Never hear perfect devotee. Uh, Never hear perfect devotee. Hardly as such. There's nothing like perfection as such. It is not good to aim for perfection, but it is very good to aim for purity. Perfection lies in purity. Perfection is in becoming pure. Yeah. Purity is perfection. And how do we become pure? By following someone who is pure. See, all how to do this can be answered in a very simple sense. One is become dependent upon Krishna by depending on Krishna. That is one thing. And by following, how do I become humble? By following someone who is humble. How does one become a teacher? By following someone who is a teacher, right? How does one become a bus driver? By following someone who is a bus driver. How does one become a lawyer? By following someone who is a lawyer. How does one become a hairdresser? By following someone who is a hairdresser. How does one become a surgeon? By following YouTube. There are actually some who follow YouTube and try to do surgery or try to do. No, by genuinely following someone who is a pure, proper, bona fide, authorized, genuine surgeon, say. So likewise, how do we become perfect? By following a pure devotee, or how do I become disciplined? By following someone who is disciplined. How do I become more peaceful, self-controlled? By following someone who is more peaceful, more self-controlled. Shastras are more peaceful, more self-controlled. Hmm? They are the breath of Krishna. They are the indirect mercy of Krishna. Mercy for sure, but indirect. Yeah. And the direct mercy of Krishna is a devotee of Krishna. Pure devotee of Krishna is the best direct mercy of Krishna. That is how we become pure. And depression, if someone actually can be revealed of his identity that you are not this body, you are a spirit soul to begin with, then what is his ultimate potential? See, if we can somehow understand, I am a part of Krishna's existence. Now, a person could be in deep depression, but if he understands, if he's a bit open up, or if he can be made a bit open up without judging him, that you are a part of, dear sir, dear madam, huh? You are a part of Krishna's existence. What can be more beautiful or glorious than this? That in itself proves that you are the best. You are a part of Krishna's existence. We have an eternal bond with Krishna. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna. You know, with these bonds, many times we buy bonds, say, huh? And we know, okay, I have this contract with my bank, a fixed deposit, which will mature in another 18 months. Huh? So, and 18 months, it will mature in another 18 months, and I will receive this much money, say, 100,000 pounds, say, for example. Now, does he not know, oh, I'm a rich person, just 18 months is the separation. Once 18 months, yes, I'm a rich person. I've got that. So likewise, we have this eternal bond with Krishna. What is separating is time, thus this human life. And if I can now, if those 18 months for me, the bond to expire, if I can control myself for those 18 months and do not do anything illegal or anything wrong or anything that violates the law, the principle, then yes, that money is there in 18 months and I will get it. Something on those lines. If I can be made aware, who am I? You know, if I can be made into look into the bright side of life and also the brightest side of death, will there be anything worry? See, okay, this is a question, Harsha, Lucy, uh, Krishna, Mataji. See, if I if I'm being promoted to a bright side of life, and promoted to the brightest side of leaving life, as in death. Will I have any trouble in any condition then, be I live or be I die?
We would always love to live given an option.
But but if you are introduced to the brightest side of death as well, not just the
Okay.
brightest side, would one shy away from dying then?
No, no.
I agree.
If one
No.
is if one is exposed to the bright side of life, and this is not just in theory, okay? Putting it into practice. Ah, ex- Life means experience. Knowledge means experience. Something which is put into practice. It's such a shame millions of people come into life and pass away just like that. What they gathered is just information in the name of knowledge. Mere information in the name of knowledge. Yeah. Dry information never helps. Information, anyways, is dry. Information hasn't got any substance in it. Dry knowledge never helps. So, if someone could be in depression, but if he or she is very lovingly, caringly, gently, a bit warmly, and a bit pushily as well, wherever required, some pressure, exert some force, but has to be gentle, is exposed to the bright side of life, given a bright engagement, a bright practice. Everyone is looking for engagement. Hmm? Krishna consciousness is also giving us engagement, and this engagement is encouraging engagement. As in, one will not find discouragement in practicing Krishna consciousness, but one could be practicing law, one could be practicing minister job, sports job, and all. And in that engagement, one would often find discouragement. But if one is genuinely practicing Krishna consciousness with good attitude and in good association, one will always find encouragement. So if one is exposed to this bright side of life, practical living life, and also revealed to the brightest side of living life, that will there be any problem for him, be him living or dying? There shouldn't be any problem for him. So where is then depression for him? But otherwise, living also, we are living as such in depression, and dying also, it's a big thing. Yeah. And very much many a cyclical thing. Depressed why? Frustration. Frustration why? Expectations. Expectations. Okay, any thoughts, questions, or comments?
I did have one that I wrote down. You might have already answered it, but like regarding devotional service, like when could that be literally anything that you do? I know that we read like one of the first things we read. It said everything you
Yes,
do, like,
yes,
offer it to
whatever you
Krishna.
do. Yeah, it could be, yeah, definitely. Why not? Like, okay, maybe I let you complete your thing. Is there more to add?
I was just gonna say because obviously when you're not in, like for me, when I go home away from the ashram and I try to do devotional service, I'm just wondering what that would look like, or if it could literally be
Sure,
everything that I'm doing.
sure. No, very good question, very practical question. So, um, just to share an example, sort of, Prabhupada, he said, like, if a person is in a pub, say, and he's having some pints with his mates, but if he says, oh God, you're amazing, you made this beer, this lager, and all, that actually also is counted as devotional service. Even though one could be jokingly, sarcastically, or funnily, may not be so substance in it, but because one is directly, indirectly, in one's heart of the heart understands, okay, oh, God has provided me this beer. So he's actually even acknowledging that is devotional service. So this is whatever you do, whatever you action you perform and all, do it as an offering to me. Yeah. So my offering could be incorrect, as in like, tell me about the glory of, mm, say, the British Empire, or tell me about the glory of Indian history or the glory of this. I may not be able to describe fully and all, but at least making that attempt. Yeah. And in practical world, in material world, not much value is given to making the attempt. It is good, but then this material world is a world of results. We are driven by results, and this is why we are in depression. We are so results oriented. Results mean what? Controlling. Results mean you have to be control freak. You need to have some control, means expectations driven by control, power, and all. And this is going to haunt us because that is not our nature or role or our capacity. That is Krishna's role. Krishna never asked Arjuna to fight, win the war. He's only asking, fight the war. But when I go, I want to win it. I'm not satisfied with fighting. So Krishna says, okay, fine, then you are on your own. Hmm. So, in terms of practicality, can anything, everything be devotional service? Well, if I see it as a offering, the cause, if the cause is love, out of love, I do whatever I do, thinking of Krishna, remembering Krishna, then I may not be performing the Vedic sense of it or in a more elevated, gentle, proper sense as such. But no doubt, Krishna is Grahi Janardana. Na? Means he sees the intent, the emotion, not the final result. Yeah. It is not that, oh Krishna, I made such a good samosa for you. No. The very thing that I made, someone made with love and encouragement, Krishna takes that. To share away, in Mahabharata, Krishna went to a devotee's house. Neglecting Duryodhana's offer for a grand meal, he went to one of his devotee's house. And the lady there, Vidurani, Vidur's wife, she was giving Krishna banana. You know how she was giving Krishna banana to eat? She was peeling the banana, taking the banana skin off, and putting the banana in a plate and giving Krishna the skin to it. She was so immersed in drinking the beauty of Krishna. She lost clue. And this is what love happens. One loses clue. This is what attachment. Uh, People, those who have experienced boy falling in love with girl and all, people, it is seen that they lost clue, they lose time and place and thing. So she was so immersed in drinking the beauty of Krishna, she was giving him the skin and putting the banana on the plate, say. And Krishna was eating the skin actually, and he was relishing eating it. Then the husband of that lady, Vidur, came in and she said, what are you doing? You are giving him the skin and taking the banana, putting the banana elsewhere, like, huh? And she saw, oh, she came to her senses, and Krishna was like, oh, Uncle Vidur, why did you interrupt at this time? Could you have not come a bit later? I was so much relishing this reciprocation, this exchange, this love from Vidurani. Ah, so for Krishna, everything comes from him, right? So banana skin and banana, nothing is like, okay, for us, see, this is the thing. For us, banana is good for us, not the skin as such. No? But Krishna can consume anything with and have no indigestion. I cannot consume banana skin, I will get indigestion and whatnot. But such is not with Krishna, provided it is offered with love. So whatever we do, our going to shop, coming from shop, huh? Our going to grocery, coming from grocery and all, if we do it with love, keeping Krishna in mind, and also involving a bit of reading, hearing, chanting and all, then Krishna will lead us further, lead us further. That is Krishna consciousness. Whatever we do out of love for Krishna. So it is not about being right or wrong. Love transcends right and wrong. And this world stucks us in right and wrong. Krishna is wanting us to love him, and in love transcends right and wrong. There's no mistake as such in love. This is the beauty. And Krishna will fill the gap. Krishna has to fill the gap. There is always going to be a gap. We are live in a temple, we are lived outside of a temple. Krishna doesn't see like that. That, oh wow, he's living in a temple. Okay, now he has done 1 year in a temple. He has done Bhakti Shastri now. Okay, this, that. No, Krishna doesn't see like that externally. Krishna sees the heart. Yeah. What is the genuine, and we know deep down inside, what sort of loving emotion do I actually carry for Krishna? And Krishna will reveal, Krishna will develop that hunger also amongst us. So it is a matter of taking the right association, inspiring devotee association. When we have a relationship with devotee, naturally our relationship with Krishna will flourish by leaps and bounds. Does that somewhat answer your question, Lucy?
It does, yes, thank you.
Any other thoughts, points, or comments or questions or anything to add? Okay, I think we leave it here then. We continue tomorrow. Thank you again for your participation and encouragement. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.